Very good evening to all of you. My name is Murli Jagannathan. I am a faculty here at the Building Technology, Construction Materials and Management Division, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Madras. In the next couple of minutes, my colleague Dr. Kirtana and I, we will take you through our presentation on what exactly is BTCM, who we are, what we do, and how we can collaborate on some exciting research projects. So coming to BTCM division at IIT Madras, so we are the first in India to have this combination of building physics, construction management, and construction material related academicians and researchers under one roof, working in a very collaborative manner on some of the pressing problems that the construction industry is currently facing. So in terms of academic programs by the division, so we have the regular programs like our dual degree program in BTCM, MTech, Master of Technology in Building Technology and Construction Management, which is through GATE. We have the user-oriented MTech program, that is Construction Technology and Management, which we are collaboratively doing it with from past 25 odd years with L&T, and this has been a very successful program since 1998, where annually we have about 30 students sponsored by L&T, and students that come from various backgrounds. Some of them are already experienced a couple of years, some civil, electrical, and mechanical, and it's a very interesting program that we have been running for many years now, and it is quite successful. So in terms of research programs, we have our Master of Science and Doctor of Philosophy, MS and PhD programs, for which we want to introduce you to some of the topics that we are working on to see if you are excited and we can join our team. You can join our team in our division here. So in terms of faculty members, we have 14 full-time faculty members, 1 professor of practice, and 3 distinguished faculty members. So you can see here that there are 3 verticals within the BTCM division, that is construction materials, construction management, where most of our faculty are from, and we have building sciences vertical as well, wherein we have faculty who will be working in both these areas, construction materials as well as management areas, and looking into building physics and building sciences aspects. So in terms of distinguished faculty members, we have Professor Mark Alexander from University of Cape Town. We have Professor Mirak from University of Maryland, USA. We have Professor Surendra P. Shah from Northwestern University, USA. All of these faculty are well known in the respective fields, and they actively collaborate with us in our research projects, and also they guide our students, and faculty collaboratively work with them on various interesting topics. So within the construction management group, of which I am a part of, we focus on 3 important things. One is on the regular construction management aspects. Then is your broader infrastructure management. Then we work on this construction automation. So when it comes to studies on construction management, the typical questions that we ask are related to some of the burning problems of the industry. Like we have the cost overruns, time overruns, productivity being low. These are traditional problems with respect to construction industry, and there are solutions, but it's often not so easy to apply these solutions on field because it comes with their own problems in terms of application and implementation. So that's where we try to see here, how do we make lean construction, how do we implement lean construction into construction projects, wherein we try to identify the wastes not only in the processes, but also not only in terms of material waste, but also in terms of process waste. We try to see what are those wastes that reduce our productivity at site, reduce them, and if it is really possible, even eliminate them. So we work jointly with some of the leading construction companies in order to implement lean, and we have seen a good amount of improvement in productivity wherever we have been involved and lean construction has been implemented. The next is a very crucial aspect of how do we embrace digitalization in the industry. We have a lot of discussions on building information modeling. We have a lot of discussions on artificial intelligence that is coming up. But to what extent are these being taken to the industry, and to what extent research is progressing in these areas such that ultimately they are of help to us when it comes to actual implementation of projects? So our faculty are working in solving some of the burning problems of the industry when it comes to application of and how the BIM, artificial intelligence and digitalization, or even drones, how they can help us in solving some of these problems. Now, when it comes to project execution and project delivery, the whole framework is important to support the environment in the project and implement certain practices and take them forward. And that's where you have the integrated processes for project delivery, where we look into lean project delivery, integrated project delivery, alliance contracting, various types of contracting mechanisms. We look into that, various types of project governance framework, we look into that to see how the projects can be managed better than what we are currently doing. So our works have seen impacts. Just like I was telling you sometime before, we actively involved with construction industry in implementing lean in construction projects in collaboration with Institute for Lean Construction Excellence, ILCE, which is based in India. So of course we have the Build India Scholarship Program, BIS, with L&T, and that helps us to collaboratively work with L&T's practitioners in trying to come up with some interesting seminars, interesting industrial lectures, and also the students go for internship in various L&T projects, and that's how knowledge exchange takes place. Of course, many of our research outputs, they have published in some of the top-notch journals, and we have labs that are dedicated to building information modeling, and so through which we try to develop solve some real-life construction problems and take it straight to the industry. Going ahead, in terms of studies on infrastructure management, so mega projects are a norm these days. So there's no project that's of a small value these days, and the scale at which we are talking about projects is phenomenal, and we are no less than compared to what happens in other countries. So when it comes to management of mega projects, it comes with own problems. It's not so easy. So therefore, what is required to get these mega projects into a successful conclusion? So that is something we work on, especially when the current trends are towards implementing sustainable practices, which is something that we can no more avoid. It is something it's no more a buzzword. It is something that's definitely required. And we have centers here like this, Technologies for Low Carbon and Lean Construction, TLC2, wherein we all work together towards bringing in sustainable practices. And the construction management group is also actively involved in getting these practices implemented into project sites. Then, of course, when we have projects, it is also important to see whether we can get them delivered at a faster pace, get them delivered at a lesser cost, and with improved quality. So what should we do for that? That is also something that we keep working on. We have active collaborations with the government of Tamil Nadu. We have collaborations with the central government in bringing some of these practices. And of course, as I was telling you earlier, some of our works have been published in some of the best journals, and we take up our presentations in some of the best conferences in the whole world. When it comes to construction automation, which is something that is fast catching up these days, we look at automation from the angle of improving time, cost, and quality of construction through automation and robotics. So we have students and we have faculty who are working on vision-based technologies, who are working on text-based technologies, who are working on a number of AI-based solutions, and also bringing in automation and also combining this with artificial intelligence to see if we can do something that is better than what we are doing and to improve the productivity at the project sites. So we have an entire setup for 3D printing. We have faculty who's fully dedicated into the workings of 3D printing, and also we have students in our labs who are working with developing mixed designs for 3D printing, and also to see some of the problems associated with 3D printings and how technology can be used to solve these problems. Comes to studies on certain sustainable construction, some of the pertinent questions that we answer is, what about the relative contribution of construction energy with respect to building life cycle energy? How do we integrate sustainability metrics into construction planning and control practices? Because unless something is measured, we don't know whether we are going on an improvement side or whether we are achieving something that we wanted. So how do we integrate these metrics into planning and control practices? So how do we improve the schedule performance of construction projects in India with some kind of practical applications to see if really we can make a difference in terms of delivering the projects better, faster, and with much improved quality? Some of the recent works that we do in our labs, which includes digitized quantification. Like when it comes to concrete and construction and demolition waste, one of the biggest problems here is how do I measure, how do I segregate, and how do I measure the quantum of waste? Because that is the beginning of everything else. So our students and along with our faculty members here, we are working on ways in which you can have digitized quantification of C&D waste with minimal manual intervention, so that it can be faster and more efficient. And also you can see the robotic arm there doing a segregation of different types of waste in the heap of waste. So that is something that's very important when it comes to waste recycling industries, and the segregation is actually a problem, and there are solutions for that, and so we are working on them. So we have our own VR lab, where there is a virtual reality training that some of the students, some of the researchers undergo, wherein we are looking at how do we improve the quality of construction through VR-based training. You might have heard about safety-based VR training. We are looking at quality-based VR training, and we have developed modules for that, and it is really quite interesting. And if you happen to come this side, we'll be very happy to if you can come walk down to our lab, and we can show you what we are doing here. Interestingly, we are also working on AI-based risk assessment for safety assessment. You can look at the short video there on posture analysis to see if things are going on the way it should go on, right? So these are some exciting stuff that we are working on, and this is really very interesting, where we try to predict the failure of a 3D printed of the 3D printing process by the help of vision-based techniques, right? So AI-based risk assessment. So we can predict based on how these layers are changing their shape. You can look at the video, and we can see that whether this particular mix is going to it's going to meet the requirements or not. So this is something that one of the PhD students is working on, which is on early prediction of failure. Now, I work on this area of construction, AI-based construction contract risk assessment, wherein I try to see if there is some kind of a risk in the given document that we are going to sign as a contract document, and see if that can be assessed well in advance through natural language processing based techniques. So we also have some of our faculty working on AI-based contractual progress monitoring, because this is again one of the key areas in construction where monitoring the progress instantly, that is really important, because only then we can take a corrective action. But if progress monitoring and reporting has a lot of gap, then that doesn't make sense, because it is not helping me in improving what I'm doing. So therefore, we can have these kind of monitoring systems which can immediately compare with my baseline schedules and come up with possible areas that might need immediate attention by the stakeholders involved in the project. So now I request my colleague Dr. Kirtana to take us through some of the research areas in construction materials.
Thank you, Hari. So hi everyone, I'm Kirtana here. So I'm going to give you an overview of what we do as a part of materials, construction materials group. So some of the questions or some of the areas which we are working on is cement chemistry and concrete microstructure, because we are involved. The whole idea is to come with a sustainable cement construction material. So one key aspect is to work with cement, which we know that it has high carbon dioxide emission, high percentage of carbon dioxide emission. So we try to work at the cement chemistry level and its microstructure and tailor it in such a way that it has low carbon output. So then the mechanical properties and dimension stabilities and corrosion and durability. So corrosion is one of the pressing thing which is happening here. Like we have a lot of existing structures which is corroding much before its design life. So how do we assess the corrosion and how do we design the structures for long-term performance and durability? So that's one of the areas. And then service life estimation, and that is how do we quantify if we are designing a particular mix or particular material, and how do we quantify it? So how do we estimate its service life and how do we extend it? So other thing is sustainability life cycle assessment. So maybe I'll go through these in more in detail. So the main questions we're trying to answer is how to design special concrete for various specific needs. So we are focusing on self-compacting concrete, fiber reinforced concrete, textile reinforced concrete, lightweight concrete, and so on. So how do we tailor the mixes for these special concretes, and how do we assess its mechanical performance and durability performance is something which we are looking at. How to utilize various byproducts and alternative materials. So we all know that we are alternative cementitious material or supplemented cementitious materials are being used in cement, like fly ash, slag, limestone, and so on. So how do we effectively utilize it? What are the strategic procedure in which how we have to go about using these materials? Another thing is material characterization. So when we are developing new materials, we have to actually understand its microstructure so that we can evaluate its short-term and long-term performance effectively. So we do SEM analysis, is scanning electron microscope. We try to understand its chemical composition, the pore structure, and so on. So we look at the micro scale. Like I said, we also look into estimate and enhance corrosion resistance and the service life of our concrete structures. How do we arrest corrosion and how do we, so in this study, we look at how to calculate the chloride ingress, carbonation, corrosion rate, and how do we protect the structures against corrosion by using different protective methods. So the other thing is how do we estimate and enhance the dimensional stability and mechanical properties? So we are developing so many tailored mixes and materials. So after it hardens, we have to actually evaluate its mechanical performance so that we can actually use it in the structural components. So there is importance like how do we evaluate its toughness, bond strength, fatigue resistance, and so on. So these are some of the broad questions which you are trying to answer. So we have state of the art laboratory facilities in our department. So this is mechanical performance of civil engineering materials laboratory. So we have servo hydraulic machines from starting from 50 kilonewton to 1000 kilonewton. So we do a lot of fatigue fracture and bond strength studies here. And we also do studies on, we also have pre-stressing bed where we do post-tension bars under stress and its condition and under corrosion activities. So this is mainly for understanding the mechanical performance of the materials. And then we have the lab for studying the long-term durability performance. So we can actually give the conditions of different temperature, carbonation, and set the humidities at different levels, and we can see how the materials respond to these different environmental conditions and then evaluate its performance. And then we have long-term shrinkage and creep studies laboratory dedicated to that. So we have specimens and experimental rigs designed to do these studies. And here also we maintain a particular temperature and humidity, and we have all these experimental rigs to do the creep and shrinkage studies. And in addition, we also do a lot of corrosion assessment studies. So we have an electrochemical workstation, corrosion cells. So here we look at from the small specimen, we look at how these materials react under alkaline environment. That's how steel degrades and all these corrosion related studies we do in corrosion lab. And then we also have a dedicated lab where we look into transport properties like transport of water, carbon dioxide through the concrete, like how it gets transports within the concrete, like oxygen. So we have concrete resistivity testing, and we have oxygen permeability test. Also different test setups we have to study the transport properties through concrete. So, and then the studies on fresh concrete. So we have a walk-in environmental chamber where we can set up temperature throughout India, whatever temperature variations we have, like total the length and breadth of India. We can actually set the temperature in this chamber, and we can actually take our specimens within this chamber and do the testing. And here of course, the fresh concrete properties, we have all the setups here to do this analysis. Like I mentioned before, like we have to actually understand the microstructural properties. So we have all the state-of-the-art facilities to do the microstructural studies of cementitious systems. And in addition, we also have in-house workshop within our department. So whatever experimental rigs we want to fabricate, we have a workshop here. So we just have to go there and give the dimensions and get it ready, the setups. So this is a real advantage for us who are doing a lot of work in experimental mechanics. In addition, some recent works we have done is we have used alternative raw materials like low-grade limestone, biomass, overburden clay, and we looked at low-carbon cements. And we also have a mini cement plant within in the institute, and we do a lot of molecular modeling because we are trying to tailor our mixes. So we try to see at the molecular level what's happening, and we have faculty who's working on molecular modeling. And then we have, of course, sustainable concrete. So we look at LC3, that is limestone calcined clay. So we have looked at these houses made up of LC3 tetrapods, and these are all actually it's in service currently right now. So one of the things which Professor Radhakrishna Pillai did was he got a patent, IIT patent for the tendon fill grouting, and which is for resistance of corrosion of the pre-stressed strands. And then we use textile reinforced concrete, which is actually since this doesn't have steel reinforcement, so we used it as a sewage water tanks, and we have actually successfully installed it in our hostels, and it's currently in service. And other than that, we have been involved in metro rail projects where the tunnel segments subjected to tunnel boring machine jack forces are tested, and we are looking into fiber reinforced concrete tunnel linings, its testing and its design methodology. And another thing, recently we had built a sports complex within our campus where we used PPVC, which is prefabricated, pre-finished volumetry construction. That technology is also being used for our hostel. So we are using all the latest technologies being implemented in our within our campus, and it's a great place to understand these technologies. And coming to the life cycle assessment, so we are talking about different materials. We actually have to understand what is the energy output, energy dissipated during this, when we're starting from the production stage, manufacturing stage, during the construction phase, and during the service life of the building. And finally, at the end of the service, when you're actually demolishing the building. So throughout this life cycle, how much energy is there, how much water you are actually using throughout the process, what is the transportation energy due to the transportation. All these energy has to be compiled to actually have a good assessment of whether it is sustainable, the whole process is sustainable or not. So for that, we do life cycle assessment to get a full understanding of the sustainable potential of a particular technology. So we have a collaboration with industry, a lot of industry partners. You can see here, like we have this and many more. So we work closely with industry because most of the problems we are trying to address is the real life application problems. So our research is actually tailored in such a way that we're trying to address the challenges which the industry faces in their So now coming to the openings in construction management, construction materials. So I'm giving it over to my colleague Murli. So he will tell you about the topics.
Right. Thanks, Kirtana. So these are some of the topics with the details of which is already available in our website, and you might have already seen them. But we work on a range of topics, but these are some things that we want to open it up this time when admissions are now on. So you can look into these topics. So like when it comes to construction contracts, I specifically am looking for people to collaborate with me on how to assess this opportunistic behavior and construction disputes. How do you measure them and how to mitigate them? Because that's again a big problem in the construction industry when it comes to claims and disputes management. Also looking for people to work on a framework for implementing lean and sustainable construction practices in projects. And again, there's no study nowadays without artificial intelligence, and construction contract management is not something different. There's a lot of synergy between AI and construction contracts, and that is something we are trying to explore in the third topic. So again, we are also looking on we spoke a lot about sustainability in both management as well as in the materials part, but how do we get them into practice? We need benchmarking. We need something to say us that where are we in terms of implementing sustainable practices. So that is something that Professor Ashwin is trying to work on, and you can look into this if this topic is exciting to you. Then institutional change for sustainability in construction. So what is it that is needed for implementing sustainable practices in construction? So with the focus on institutional change is something that Professor Ashwin is again working on. So Professor Nikhil works on construction safety from the management side. So he is looking to develop virtual reality based construction safety training programs, which is really important because projects are getting even more complex than what it was a few days ago. So with virtual reality, we can simulate various situations, and it can be really helpful for people to get trained and work safe in projects. So digital twin, development of a construction twin for real-time monitoring of project progress and resource allocation. Professor Aritra Pal, who will be joining us in a short while, so is looking to work on this particular topic. So we have topics on BIM, which I was telling you earlier. We have a lab dedicated to building information modeling. So automatic creation of 5D BIM from construction specification documents. generating design alternatives for circular construction. So these are some of the topics. But just because we have listed some topics here, it doesn't mean that we are restricting only to these topics, but we are very much open to some of the new topics in these areas or related areas. If you're coming up with some new ideas, please feel free to contact the respective faculty. The contact details are available. You can mail them, you can talk to them, you can set up a meeting, discuss length and breadth about your ideas, and if it's really working out, then it's nothing stops you from proposing this topic as a part of your application process. In terms of materials, I request Kirtana to quickly summarize these topics.
So in materials, we have listed few topics. So the first topic is thermomechanical behavior of textile reinforced concrete. So textile reinforced concrete, basically instead of steel reinforcement, we use textile fabric in the form of grids, which is either glass or any other basalt or different type of textile fabric, which is reinforced in cementitious mortar. So here we are trying to, this materials is mainly used as a facade elements or minor vertical loads or free-form structures, and this being used a lot in European countries and all, as well as in India and high store in structures with high story building as facades. So mainly there's a lot of very little research on thermomechanical behavior of this material. So the idea is to understand under temperature variations and operational temperature variations, how does this material respond and how is its performance. So the next topic is on molecular dynamics. So this topic is by Professor Aslam. So he works at how the molecules interact with each other to give a particular property. So here he is looking at the topic here is interaction of chemical admixtures with low carbon cementitious systems. So if you have any questions on the topic or want to know more about it, Professor Aslam is actually here, so you can ask about more details about this topic to him. And the third topic is on corrosion control. So this topic is offered by Professor Radhakrishna Pillai. So here the aim is to extending the service life of corroding concrete structures by 50 years using galvanic cathodic protection. So galvanic cathodic protection is a corrosion protective systems which we installed in the structures during the construction stage, and then you take the readings from that and kind of evaluate what is the corrosion rate which is happening in the structure. So to this technology, how can we use this technology to extend the life of the structure is the topic. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to write to Professor Radhakrishna Pillai. And the next topic is on concrete pavements. So it is on the sustainable concrete pavements using high volumes of construction, demolition, and industrial waste as constituent replacements. So as we know right now, a lot of buildings and infrastructure have come to the end of their life, and it's getting demolished because of a lot of reasons. And how this demolition waste, how do we actually recycle and reuse it in our practices? So one solution is this particular topic is offered by Professor Surendra. He's from transportation department. So he's looking at how these waste materials could be reused in the pavement construction. So if you want to know more about this topic, feel free to write to him. So this is the details on timeline of what the process. So you have to apply, the application deadline is at 31st October. So based on your application, there will be a shortlisting, and then you'll be called for test and interview. And there will be an in-person interview. So it will happen somewhere between 18th and 20th of November. So once you're shortlisted for the program, so your course will start in January 2025. You can begin your research career at IIT Madras. So if you want to know more details about the eligibility criteria and so on, please go to this link at research.iitm.ac.in. So it will give you all the details you require to know. So we also have our website. This is a civil website, BTCM website, and a TLC2 website. TLC2 refers to Technologies for Low Carbon and Green Construction. So we have also updated all the details in these two websites, so feel free. And also all the faculty's profiles and the areas in which they work on is also elaborated in this website, so you can go and see what we are working on. So thank you all. So now the floor is open for questions. So please type in your questions in the chat box and we will respond to your questions. Thank you. Okay, the first question is, can you please tell about postdoctoral research position? So right now we have advertised this webinar is for MS and PhD position, but if you're interested in a postdoctoral position, please write to the respective faculty to whom you're interested to work with, and which aligns with your research interest as well. And don't email everyone, because it might be if you particularly apply to those whom you think can with whom your interest matches. You can individually contact your faculty. So the next question is, if I want to work on AI-based assistive technology for contract interpretation, what kind of research profile should I build? So I think Professor Jagdan.
So, hi Rashmi. This is really a very cutting edge field that we are trying to work on here. So what you need to do is that, suppose you are through the interview and the interview process and the selection process. So you will have to look into developing your skills on both domain specific areas like contracts and disputes resolution. And also you will have to take up some of the courses pertaining to application of artificial intelligence. Like, you may not need to get into the details of of the science behind it, but at least to the extent of how you want to apply them, so that we can solve our problems. I would say that your research profile that you would like to, what I understand from the term research profile is, I understand that you're looking to see what kind of skills that you need to develop. Yeah, so in terms of skills, yes, you need basic contract interpretation skills, like which of course we offer courses here. You can take up the course. It's not something that that I expect you to come ready with, but yeah, so you can, if you are already having some work experience in the related field, it is very good. But otherwise, also you can slowly develop that. That's not difficult. And as I told, you will have to take up some courses on artificial intelligence, maybe within the department, or maybe some courses from other departments within IIT. So that should help you to build your profile. And I can assure you that these areas are fast picking up, and every day something new is happening. So it will be surely a very good profile if you can work in this area, and you'll definitely have good options, whether you want to get into the academic side or whether you want to get into the industry. I'm sure you will have good opportunities. So if you want to discuss more on this, we can take it up separately, and you can always write to me. We can have one-to-one discussion on this for more details. Yeah.
So the next question is it good idea to apply for MS research after MTech program? I would like to try working in a research area other than MTech project, or would it be better to approach professor with the project area? So your intention is to change the research area. So for MS, you need a GATE score to come to do it in IIT Madras. Of course, for MTech as well. So since you already have a master's degree, I would suggest that you can approach the faculty for a project. So all the projects will have the research component, and you can try it out. And if you can, I don't think it's up to you whether if you want to do an MS research, you can do. But since you already have a master's program, I would suggest that if it's really your intention is to learn and change the area, I would say that you can approach the professor and then for a project area. That would be my suggestion. So next question is, I completed BU on 2014 with second class and MECM on 2023 with second class. Have 10 years of work experience in construction. Second class of degree eligible for research program.
So I think there are cutoff that's mentioned in.
So for the eligibility criteria, there is some cutoff mentioned. You can you can go check the link. So if your cutoff is if your scores are above these cutoffs, then you will be eligible to apply. Otherwise, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the details are available in the website. You can look into that, and maybe that will be clear. So Anupa, is it possible to use AI tools for formulation of contracts in risk profiling as a research topic? Yes, absolutely, we can do that. It needs a little bit of discussion to shape up the research proposal. So definitely we can take it up and work on it, and you can get in touch with me, and my contact details are available in the link that is there. Please write to me. We can have a call and discuss further on this. But it's an exciting topic that you have proposed. Yeah.
Yeah, so what kind of questions will be asked in the test basics of building materials? Yeah, it will be fundamental questions related to materials, mechanics, and management. We also have aptitude. We also have aptitude along with that. Are BR graduates eligible for this program? Yes, of course.
Yes, we encourage architect students to apply for masters and PhD here. In fact, we have many notable alumni who are architects working in across the country. So architects, please feel free to apply for either masters or for PhD program.
Please feel free to apply. We'll go to the next question. I have low gate score, want to do higher studies, interest in structural design, and my project was bridge design. I want to join. So I assume that you want to do masters. For masters, gate score is must, but gate score is not mandatory for PhD degree. So you have to do a masters here, then you have to come through the gate score. Probably you can write again and build up your score and then approach us.
Yeah, just to add to Dr. Keetana, I think the selection for master's degree depends on three aspects. One is your performance in the undergraduate program, your CGPA in the undergraduate program, and then the performance in the interview, and then your gate score. So it is collectively decided based on all three aspects. So even if you have slightly low gate score, but you have done very well in the interview, you have done very well in the undergraduate program, there is a possibility for you to get admission for master's program. So don't worry too much about your low gate score.
So please apply.
Yeah.
Feel free to apply for master's program. We have plenty of seats. I just want to tell you that we have more seats available. So in fact, last time the number of applicants we have shortlisted for admission, it's very less compared to the total number of seats available in the department. So we encourage more applicants to apply for master's degree as well as for PhD. So please do not hesitate to submit your application.
Yeah, so like what I was telling earlier, don't restrict yourself to the topics that we have proposed. Please feel free to contact the respective faculty and develop and you can discuss and come up with new ideas, and it's up to you and the faculty if you can come up with something interesting, and nothing stops you from applying. So please do think about it.
Yeah, so just want to have a general comment to all the participants. So we have almost like one IIT Indian Institute of Technology in every state of India. So earlier 20 years back, we used to have only 5 to 6 IITs, but now we have 30 plus states, and all the states mostly they have one IIT, and also all the states have NIT. So these institutions, we need highly qualified academic professionals to serve as faculty members in the coming years. So pursuing doctoral degree or master's degree in IIT gives you the opportunity to become a faculty member in other IITs and contribute to the growth of the country. So please, we have plenty of opportunities in the country, and yeah, civil engineering, there is a significant exponential growth expected in the next 20 years. So a lot of opportunities, both in the industry as well as in the academic community.
Okay, I joined Zoom meeting. I want to know the scope of sustainability engineering. Yeah, professorship.
Yeah, sustainability. Yeah, we have a lot of opportunities. So if you are an architect or if you have the civil engineering background, please feel free to apply for master's degree or for PhD degree in the civil department with a specialized area. You state it as building technology and construction management, and yeah, certainly we can consider that in the interview. So we do have a school of sustainability in IIT Madras. So they do offer a certificate program in sustainability. So we have a lot of opportunities. So please interact with the faculty members.
Both the materials group as well as the management group, our common focus is on sustainability. So you can approach whichever area sub areas that you are interested in. You can look into the faculty profiles and contact them. If you've not gone through the websites and the links that are there, please do that whenever you have time. So that will give you a lot of idea about what we are doing and how you can collaborate with us. And regarding all the eligibility criteria and other things, all the details are available, so you can always look into that. And please remember 31st October is the deadline, and please apply before that if you are interested.
So I think no more questions. We'll close the webinar. Thank you all for joining on Friday evening. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.